Hey guys, subscribe for daily content, and if you're shopping for gear, make sure you check out the description for the newest items at some of the very best online retailers. There's also links for some of the items that I personally recommend. Thanks!
What's going on, YouTube? Metal Complex here, and today I've got another short little unboxing video to share with you guys some new stuff from Kizer. There's actually double this that came in, but as per usual, I kind of split these up into a couple videos because Kizer likes to send a lot of knives. We're gonna unbox these today, and then we'll kind of figure out which ones are gonna be worth taking a closer look at in the form of a full-length review. Thanks so much to Kizer for sending these in. Thanks to my patrons for supporting me. All of these knives will be listed down in the description. It does help my channel when you use those links, but that's up to you. Make sure your notifications are turned on. So I'm gonna move these back. Let's do the fixed blade first and see what's going on here. The Whiskey Jack. This is a 10V blade. Now, in this tier of steels, from what I have come to understand from the community, is that Kizer should step up their heat treatment. So I don't know if that is still the case. I don't know if Kizer actually lists their HRC range on their website. If you guys don't, Kizer, you need to do that. You absolutely must be listing your HRC ranges on your website so that people can see. And if they are in fact low for the, as far as like the optimized range for these types of steels, then you should absolutely kick them up, because there's no point unless we are the point's right there, Metal. All right, yeah. There's no point unless you are hitting at least the minimum optimal range with this stuff, right? This is pretty cool, though. A nice little EDC-sized fixed blade. I'll let you guys take a look here closer, sorry. And what I should actually do is bring this camera down a bit. There we go. That probably makes a lot more sense as far as presenting a knife like this. We have what looks like micarta, and then it's not carbon fiber. It's more of like a micarta mascus is what it appears. If I can read this itty bitty little text here. Here we go. It says micarta and vortex micarta handle. So vortex micarta would just be a layered, right? A layered micarta, sort of in the same pattern that you would see some Damascus, which is cool. This is a nice little size. The sheath has this sort of carbon fiber appearance to it. It's not actually carbon fiber. It also has the molly clip on it. What I would probably do with this is I would remove the molly clip completely and carry this in my pocket just with the sheath, which I think is going to be a good option for some people. But it's nice that we have the molly clip on there so that people can carry it however they want. I think a nice EDC fixed blade absolutely does have its place. For me, most of the time, a folding knife is going to be more convenient. But, for some people, especially people who spend a lot of time outdoors and maybe are a tad more abusive with their knives out of necessity, right? Which does occur sometimes, right? If this is a small, lightweight, compact blade, when it is fixed and not folding, can absolutely be more capable. In terms of strength and what would destroy your knife, is absolutely more capable than a fixed blade of the same dimensions. Anyways. That's cool. I like that. I would hope that Kizer steps up their heat treatment on that stuff if it's still a little bit low. Now, these three are interesting because of what they say on the outside. Let me see if these are all... Yeah, they're all the same steel. So this is called the POKIMAN. This is how your dad says Pokemon, even though he knows good and well it's pronounced Pokemon. He calls it Pokimane. Right? Now, some people say that just to irritate people, and some people just really want to pretend, right? Like, what's his name from Pawn Stars? He irritated the entire world when that guy came in with the super rare, Charizard collection. He was like, I don't know what these Pokemans are. Shut up, Rick! You freak, you weird... 100% of your actual face is in 5% of your head. You look like a Lego person with a mustache. Anyways... like Rick is ever gonna see this. But anyways, yeah, the people who say that, they know it's is Pokemon, right? But this is funny that they have actually printed it on there. Like this actually, I think that makes that funny. Pokimane CD, AEBL, etc., etc. Let's open this up. I guarantee you Kizer knows what Pokemon is. Pokemon anymore. I don't know. I haven't played the newer games. Looks like it sucks. The old games were awesome. Red, blue, yellow, and especially gold and silver. Golly, gold and silver. Remember that? Woo. Anyways, back to pocket knives, which are exactly like Pokemon, by the way. They are exactly like Pokemon. Anybody who plays or has played Pokemon or, collects the cards, a bunch of like old-timer knife guys are going to get real frustrated that I said that. But it's true, and anyone who has played Pokemon or collected cards knows that pocket knives, this part, especially channels like mine, talk about stuff like this. These are Pokemon, guys. That's what they are. The more you think about it, the more you'll realize I'm correct, right? Now, if you're like, in your mid-50s, maybe you just got done chopping wood or, whatever, hooking up your trailer. That's going to irritate you a little bit, right? That's okay. It's still true. I don't know why I'm saying stuff like this. AEBL, the Pokemon. Why are we calling this the Pokimane? I mean, so the obviously I'm going to learn more about this. This is just an unboxing, all right? I mean, you guys can probably fill me in the comments. I'm going into this blind. But good profile, right? Not a new profile. Certainly a profile I've seen a million times. Clutch lock, which is fine, but I mean, ultimately pretty boring. I do like the blue on here. The gray, sort of like a gray wash PVD is what it looks like. Micarta is good. Ambidextrous mounting positions for the pocket clip. Yeah, sure. Good EDC profile. Seen it a million times. Probably with it being AEBL, which is it's an okay steel. I think it makes more sense on a fixed blade, right? But it's fine. Probably going to be in the mid $50 range, or at least it should be. Let's open up these others. Good EDC profile though. Nothing wrong with it. Oh, we got a clear one. Yeah. Yeah, we got the clear plastic. I mean, I'm going to call it clear plastic. There's a name for it. That's not acrylic, but anyways, it's fine though. I think it's cool being able to see into your knife. I think it's a lot cooler when they actually color this stuff, like what Flytanium did with the beef, not the beef. What Flytanium did with the arcade. The reason that people like that, I think, is I'm like my age group. I like it because it makes me think of like the old see-through N64 controllers or the old see-through Game Boy Colors, which is right around the same time period that the original Pokemon games were that started to take off. So that's kind of what I enjoy about that stuff is the nostalgia of it. But the clear, just like, kind of crystal plastic is also nice. It's not regular plastic. It will hold up, of course, a lot better than, whatever Fisher-Price toys are made out of. But it absolutely can crack, just like Ultim. So be cognizant of that. But it's fine. Satin, AEBL, we have a little gold accents there, and we've got a nice polished pocket clip. Okay, very nice. And now the last Pokimane here. It says aluminum. Oh, we have an aluminum one. Yes. Probably going to be a little more expensive for aluminum. Well, that's nice, though. Real nice dark blue aluminum. And then we have sort of copper. That's a really, really nice color combination. Again, just a plain Jane clutch lock, right? And a profile that we've seen a million times. I just noticed these are all three different blade shapes. So this is kind of almost like a double clip point. And then we have the sheep's foot, and we have a classic drop point here. This is absolutely the nicest configuration. Coppery bronze with dark blue is just really, really nice. I like that a lot. Really wish that these were button-operated top liner locks. I think that, that would be better. You know what needs to happen here with the clutch lock, guys? Here's what needs to happen. with all crossbar locks. And if it's because Benchmade has a patent on this thing, somebody needs to find a workaround. All that needs to happen to keep this locking system alive and interesting is they need to get rid of the Omega springs that are required for operation for this setup, and they need to adopt the peg system that we see in the Benchmade Anthem and in the Spyderco Mannix. We need to have the peg, and it needs to have a coil spring wrapped around it. Why? Because the way that these locking systems actually engage is very, very good. I want people to understand, especially new people, the reason that myself and so many other people in the comments are not like, we're not like complaining about this lock because it's bad. We're complaining about it for two reasons. Number one, it's been around, like, we're just kind of sick of it. We're sick of seeing the same thing over and over and over again. And number two, it depends on Omega springs. And depending on, just luck, just depending on RNG, you could have one snap day one, which is not like, it's not the end of the world. It's just an inconvenience because you have to go and get another one or request another one from the manufacturer, buy another one off eBay, and then wait for it and then install it yourself, which is a pain in the ass, right? The Omega springs suck. We don't want Omega springs. The coil spring operated crossbar lock, which I believe Benchmade does have a patent on, is superior in every way. It's very similar to the way that Microtech's ram lock engages. It's just not a bar. It's just sort of a slab. It's two surfaces like this, right? But those use a coil spring. Someone needs to find some type of workaround, and then the entire industry needs to adopt this. That would make all crossbar locks interesting again, or interesting enough, and substantially more reliable long term. You tell me what you think about that. I think it's a great idea, and honestly, even if you tell me it's not a good idea, I'm still going to think it's a good idea. Let's open up this last one here. So this is the Pioneer M390 blade, and it looks like a whole bunch of it. So this is, it doesn't actually say X. So Kizer has an X series that's like above standard premium. It has all of the markings of the X series. It just doesn't actually say it on the box. So I wonder if they're going ahead with it without actually labeling them. I don't know if all Pioneers are part of the X series. I'll just kind of judge this when I get it out. It certainly feels exactly the same as the other Pioneers without the contouring. So perhaps not. But is it, though? It is. I'm wrong. It's contoured. Okay. Titanium, carbon fiber, very nice. Nested lock. We have the... I don't know if that backspacer is titanium. We have just a standard clip here, but do we have a DLC blade? Maybe so. Maybe so. This is a titanium lock bar. I love this. I love it when we anodize the lock bar. I think that looks so good. One of the best examples of the anodizing of the liner and just the look of it. If you guys remember the Benchmade Vicar, which was not the best design, not the best received, and it was ridiculously, honestly, the texture on the knife, it was like frozen Velcro. It's awful. But the liners on that thing looked awesome in combination with the dark forest green G10 that was frozen Velcro textured. It was like it was like cactus shavings, like glued to sandpaper. Like that's what it felt like. But the liners were polished bronze. Really nice. I do like that polished liner there. It looks good. Okay, so the pocket clip makes me think that we're not going to price this quite as high. And I also don't know what this backspacer is. Maybe it is titanium. It feels like metal of some kind. It's hard for me to see. I'm just looking for... Oh no, I'm wrong. I'm wrong. It's not. Yes, these are voids in the carbon fiber. No, that's not a Kizer thing. That's the nature of the beast, because this is shred carbon fiber. So you're just going to get those. This is not. This backspacer looks like it's probably G10 or something like that. It's kind of hard to tell because I can't see the fibers or anything in it. This blade looks nice and center. it looks like G10 to me. So the reason that that's important is because it kind of gives me an idea of what we can expect for price. So this appears to be DLC. It doesn't look like PVD. It looks like DLC. M390, titanium, maybe titanium bolsters. It might actually be aluminum. Just because we often see those types of things together. There it is, the Pioneer. Let's actually read. So we have M390 blade, stone wash, flat, brushed. It is DLC, titanium and marble, carbon fiber. So marble, not shred, but still same thing. You're going to get voids. Liner lock. So is the liner has to be titanium. This might end up being a pretty premium priced knife. The backspacer is not so out of place. The pocket clip not being milled is a little bit weird to me. What should this be priced at? In my opinion, this is a really nice knife. It should not be above like $250. And honestly, it should be much more towards the $200 price point. This is nice. The action is okay. Like the pivot action is slightly tight. You can hear it. Not bad though. There's no like bumps or lumps or anything. This will just take a little bit to smooth out. It doesn't necessarily feel like, you know, a mega tier knife or anything, which is probably why they didn't put the X on there. Yeah, it's okay. So we have these here today. These are all fairly cool. The POKIMAN is funny. This version of it is pretty cool. This guy's okay, assuming that they, you know, price it reasonably. And as far as the fixed blade goes, I think it's cool. But again, everything I've heard is that they're those steels, right? The 10V and have they done? They've done 10V and have they done 15V? Those steels apparently are not getting the appropriate heat treat, so Kizer needs to look at that. That's going to be it from me today, guys. Watch out for part 2, which you should see, fairly soon after this one. As far as the other Kizer knives they sent, please make sure to follow me on Instagram at metal_complex. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like. If you'd like to check out my other content, I do, of course, have lots of videos of knives that are either expensive or inexpensive that I do or don't like, so check those out. And if you enjoy all my content, go ahead and click on that Metal Complex logo right there and subscribe because there's definitely more coming. Thanks again for watching, everybody, and have a great day.